to be informing you about the sport of gymnastics and how it relates to the health of the female athlete, both short-term and long-term. So gymnastics was actually invented in Greece, and it was invented as just another form of exercise, like if you took a kickboxing or Zumba class nowadays. And it didn't become a structured sport until it began reaching out into other cities and competitive nature took over. And it actually didn't even reach us here in the US until the 1830s. How many of you have ever actually competed in gymnastics? Okay. How many of you just know of the sport and that's really it? Okay, cool. Well, I was a competitive gymnast from the time I was 9 till when I was 18. I was a coach for 5 years, and I'm currently a certified ranked judge of gymnastics, and this will be my 3rd year. And my hope by the end of the speech is that you'll know a little bit more about the health benefits and the health risks associated with gymnastics, long-term and short-term. And to make it a little easier to follow, I broke it down into kind of 4 main points: the physical, mental, and emotional risks, and the health benefits. Starting with physical and short-term injuries, we have kind of your basic injuries like jam fingers, pulled muscles, sore muscles, things you can kind of do with every sport. A little more related specifically to gymnastics are like rips in your hands or beam burns. If you don't know what that is, it's when you do a skill on the beam and you fall off and you rub some part of your body on the beam and you get this big, nasty, reddish, bruised thing, and it's awful to look at, but they're great war stories if you ever get one. And the big misconception about the short-term injuries is that the upper-level gymnasts get them more often as Olympic-level gymnasts, but it's actually the opposite. In the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Olympics combined, only 22% of the total number of gymnastics athletes got short-term injuries. That's about 84 out of 1,000 if you don't know. And moving on to some of the longer-term injuries, in an article written by Alexis Colden and Abigail Lynn titled Sports-Related Injuries in a Young Female Athlete, put forth by the Mount Sinai Journal of Medicine in 2010, MRIs and radiographs have shown the spread of degenerated and herniated invertebral discs, thoracic compression fractures, kyphosis, and Schmall's node across female athletes. And if none of you know what any of those are the 4 most common long-term injuries related to gymnastics, and they all occur in the back or somewhere along the spine. And those injuries can last from anywhere to 5 months to a lifetime. There are treatments, but sometimes it's not curable. Moving on to the probably least known, but most prominent, are what we call mental blocks. They're more psychological injuries than physical injuries, but as defined by Erwin Lawrence, a mental block is a phenomenon in which the athlete's mind no longer allows them to perform a skill that they've once learned and was previously automatic. And this occurs due to some sort of fear that's been placed in the athlete's mind. And the 4 most common types of fear that it is from is the fear of the apparatus, the fear of the coach, fear of injury, or fear of failing at that skill. Moving on to the emotional implications of gymnastics. A big emotional one is parental influence. A study was conducted by Merwin Weeks and Carl Hayashi, published in the Pediatric Exercise Science Journal, that children whose parents attended their meets and were supportive throughout practices and maintained realistic expectations of their children's outcome in the sport actually had much more positive outlooks on the sport and continued in the sport much longer. Whereas vice versa, if the parents had too little in those categories or too much, the children's experience with the sport was a negative outlook, and they ended sooner. Also, some of the emotional implications are less family time. You don't really get to have much of a social life because when you're a competitive gymnast, you're usually training 4 to 5 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So it's a very routine schedule with school, gym, home, eating, sleeping. But out of that come a lot of benefits, like gained independence, discipline, strong work ethics, starting your days early and ending them early. And there's also a study, I don't have this study, but it's shown that gymnasts long-term after ending their career have about 13 to 16% stronger bone structure than those who don't do competitive gymnastics. Gymnastics has and always will be a physically demanding sport, and I hope by now you're able to see why and know some of the reasons and variations of stress that comes with it, but not forgetting the benefits. To end with a quote from Shawn Johnson, "I don't think I've ever not gotten nervous. When you work so hard for one special day or routine, you want to perform it better than you ever have. We always say in our gym, if you lose the nerves, you lose the sport." Thank you for listening.